Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, California to West Africa. Hey, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for notifications when I upload. I try to upload about twice a week. I'm documenting my life in the country of Cote d'Ivoire. If you don't know where that's at, please go look at a map. It's in West Africa. It's in the southern part of West Africa near Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Nigeria. The number one question I get asked on my channel is, why did you go to Africa? And because I'm a passport bro and expat, and I know, again, I'll say it in every video, I know that guys are going to the Philippines and Thailand, and I get why guys are going there. I purposely didn't go there because I wanted to get out of American culture. Here in West Africa, there is a smaller expat group or community. When you go to the Philippines and Thailand, you're going to run into huge expats from America, Australia, UK. You're going to have everybody there. It's going to be inundated with American culture, and that's what I was trying to get away from, while still maintaining a level of society that is still a modern city. And the biggest difference is a few things. Number one, when you get out of American culture, you're going to run into less feminism. Now, I'm speaking to the guys here. If you know about feminism and how it's affecting society, you know that America is toxic with toxic femininity. And I hate to use those terms, but these are terms that people are familiar with. So I wanted to get as far, I talked about it in another video. I said I wanted to put in 2 firewalls into my life so that I could come to Africa and find a traditional woman, to have a family, to have a healthier relationship than I can get in the United States. American dating and trying to have relationships in America because of marriage laws, common laws, and just this culture of false domestic violence allegations, false rape allegations. You're really, really, really in a dangerous minefield by dating in America. So when you are away from the culture, when you're away from the culture of America, it really makes a big difference in your relationships. When you watch YouTube videos about people going to the Philippines and Thailand, there seems to be a lot of these YouTubers that are like super good looking. They're Chads, they're really high status guys. That's not what this channel is about. I'm not a high status guy. I'm not some kind of Chad that's out trying to bust open beautiful women in other countries I go to. That's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel is to show you that there are regular guys going out and dating average women and having relationships with average women. I might be, just only because of my height, I'm 6'2", maybe I'm above average in that aspect, but in every other aspect, I'm an average guy. And I'm also older, which is going to play a big part in why I'm talking about these issues. Okay, one of the big things that's going to be the same from moving to Africa in the country of Cote d'Ivoire and moving to the Philippines or Thailand, the cost of living is about the same when it comes in terms of how much it costs compared to America. I'm from California, so me living here on my salary, and I want to do a cost breakdown for anyone who's interested. Maybe I will do that in a future video. I've had some requests for it, but let's be real. If you're able to travel, I don't recommend traveling unless you're making at least $1,500 USD or $3,000 USD. Ideally, it would be best if you're making about $5,000 a month. If you're making $5,000 a month, you can live here in Cote d'Ivoire very nicely. Even on $3,000 a month, you can afford to have a family of 2 or 3. And you'll live in a nicer area. You'll have plenty of money for rent, food, and utilities, depending on your lifestyle. So I don't know why really people want to have a breakdown of all the actual costs of everything. Let me just tell you something. Also, because the prices are all over the place here. Maybe in America you might spend $60 a month for a nice gym. Here you're going to pay about $100 a month. But you're talking about rents, like places I live. The place I live I pay $450 a month for a 2-bedroom. That in the States would cost me about $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Now, you're not going to have the amenities of all, like it doesn't come with hot water, and you're not going to have maybe washer and dryer hookups. There's going to be some things you're going to do without, but if you're traveling to another country, just expect that it's not going to be like America. So we already know that already. So the biggest difference, one big difference in between Africa and the Philippines. Okay, one downside of living in Africa compared to the Philippines or Thailand is in Africa there is a malaria problem. Malaria is prevalent. If you come to live in Africa, you're going to get malaria. I don't care how much inoculations or anti-malarial medication you take. At some point you're going to get malaria. I take the pills, and I still, because there are different strains of malaria, and I won't go into that, but the number one place that you're going to get malaria is Nigeria. Cote d'Ivoire is somewhere down, maybe about sixth on the list. But if you're living in West Africa, you're going to get malaria. So if you have health problems or anything like that, malaria is a serious disease, and I encourage you to go look up malaria and see what the indications for that are. But it is definitely a reality coming here, and it's something that's on my mind all the time. I keep screens on my windows. I sleep under a mosquito net sometimes. I have a brand new baby, 3 months old. She sleeps under a mosquito net, but even she's already been bit. Not every mosquito here, especially in the city, is going to have malaria. However, those are usually in the rural areas, but it's still, you can get it in the city areas. So malaria is just going to be part of the deal, but I wouldn't let it worry you too much. I personally got malaria at the same time I caught typhoid. It was hell on earth, but I survived. I went to the doctor. I was in the hospital for a day or two, got an IV and got the anti-malarial medication, and I was fine. I made a full recovery. It was okay. Because I've never been to the Philippines or Thailand, I've only been to South Korea. I can't really speak to fully what the culture is like in the Philippines, although I did date a Filipino woman for 11 years, and I will tell you, I don't have to look very far. I don't need studies and everybody's input or to know that I definitely don't want to be involved with women of Asian or Filipino culture. For my experience, if you look online, everyone, even Filipinos will agree, Filipinos are very jealous, very possessive, and if you're like me, an older man dealing with younger females, if you're dealing with a female that's 10 or 20 years younger than you, you're going to be dealing with, I think it's called Tampa, something like that, where they have this culture of women are just, I just personally don't, for me, I won't do it.
And I talk to foreigners every day of the week. I'm talking to different guys that are talking to girls online, or they've been here for maybe a few months. They've either met their wife and they're living a very happy, wonderful life, or they've met 10 of the wrong girls. If they ignored the red flags, they always end up in a bad situation. Foreigner after foreigner after foreigner. And right away, I'll start asking them questions and they'll say, yep, I ignored that. She was pretty. I'm 50, she was 25, so I ignored it, hoping it wasn't important, but it's because I've gone through it myself. She obviously knows a lot of Filipinas, and the fact is, like I said, based on the amount of guys I talk to, I hear the same thing over and over and over and over again. I almost don't want to put jealousy as a red flag because it's very common here. So I wouldn't tell you to run from every girl that is jealous, because most of them will be. So I would just be a little nervous if she's not jealous at all, because it's actually kind of the opposite here, where if she's not jealous, then she doesn't really care about you.
Not really. The jealousy is like trust. If you trust someone, then you're not gonna jealous, because in your head, no, he's a good man,
Right,
he's not gonna hurt me.
Yeah, but what I
your
mean is,
mind.
when people meet and they first start dating, girls here are jealous at first because they haven't built that trust yet, and they're trying to hold on and cling to the guy because they're worried someone else will steal
I
them.
have found that African women are way more easier to deal with than Filipinos, and I've been with a few Thai women, but I've never been to Thailand. I know that a lot of people will see them as more beautiful in the face, more feminine, sexy. I get it. I get why people love going to Asia. But Africa has beautiful women too. And I can tell you across the board that African women have way better body. I know I'm going to get into the comments. Oh, you don't know. You don't ever see all the women. There's women over in the Philippines that have great bodies. Yes, I know. But I'm telling you, from what I've seen, and I have a lot of experience, I'm telling you, African women got way better bodies, way better. They're gonna have more ass, they're gonna have more titties, they're gonna be physically, I don't know. I just think they're way sexier and hotter, and they objectively have curvier bodies. If you're into curvy women, and I'm not talking about fat. I'm not trying to use a euphemism to be nice. I don't like fat women. I'm talking about curvy, sexy, healthy, curvy women. Africa is the place to be at. Having relationships with women. Now, I've only been to 2 countries in Africa, Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. There is a big difference between Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. In Nigeria, they speak English. In Cote d'Ivoire, they speak French. In Nigeria, because they speak English, they're very closely connected to the United States. They are connected. The women there are into feminism. There is a big feminist push into Nigeria. I honestly, if I was going to tell anyone to come, now listen, Nigeria, beautiful women. Some of the top beautiful women in the world, Nigeria. That being said, I would avoid Nigeria completely. I would skip over Nigeria. There are other countries that are going to be much better for looking for traditional females that are still adhere to the gender norm, the gender roles in the relationship. And I'm not, and the relationship I'm in with now, I'm with a professional woman who has her doctorate, so I'm not with an uneducated woman. But because of her values and traditions and the way she's connected with her culture, and they don't speak English here, they're not connected to America, she has continued for the last couple of years to remain in that strict gender role within the relationship. And even though she works full time and has her doctorate, and I've met many women like that, the difference I saw in Nigeria was that they're so into feminine, they're so into this independence. They're very, the women I met there are very combative. They're very, they just have all these, they've been poisoned. Nigeria has been poisoned with American feminism. They watch nothing but American TV. They've got their Nollywood. They've got their hip hop culture. It's so closely to America. It's so closely tied to America. I just honestly can't recommend it. And I have many good friends in Nigeria. I actually loved Nigeria when I was there visiting, and my experience, of course, shaped my opinion. But listen, my opinion is shared online. And even when I ask AI to give me the differences between Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria, it lists everything I'm telling you right now, except for maybe the women, because, you know, they say looks and everything is so subjective. Listen, there is an objective way to see what beautiful women are. Now, if you're an average guy like me, or even slightly above average, if you go to Thailand or the Philippines, sure, you can get you you're going to get you a cuter girl probably than what you normally could get in the States, if you're white. I can't speak to the black experience, so I'm speaking to my white brothers. If you're going to those countries, of course, you're going to get a beautiful woman, if just being American. You're going to have a built-in status, you're going to have a built-in value, and so you're going to either get taken advantage of, or you can, choose to, be proactive and not letting yourself get scammed. In Thailand or Philippines, you're going to get you a cute girl. But if you're an average guy, I've looked online. I've seen guys going to Thailand, and they'll be older guys, maybe in their 50s, 60s. Maybe they're fat, out of shape. They make social security. They're not making that much money. They really they're just in terrible shape, and they just assume that they're going to go there and get a hot chick. Those guys usually are the ones that end up getting taken advantage of. But here, this is the difference I find. Even though I've never been to the Philippines and Thailand, I think Africa, you would have I've noticed here for myself, I have a built-in status, just being white. The double-edged sword is a lot of people think I'm rich, even though I'm just making average income. But I just noticed that the women here in these countries genuinely like older white dudes. And I'm not talking, and I'm talking about in the city, of course, there's the prostitutes. So anyone's going to come on here and argue with me, oh, they just want you for your money, bro. I've had all these negative comments on the channel where they say, oh, your girlfriend's cheating on you. Oh, they don't like you. They don't like you because you're white. Or they just like you because you're rich or you have money, or listen, it's bullshit. Save those comments, because I'm not gonna, you're full of shit. There are women here that genuinely love white older dudes. And listen, I'm not a dumbass. I know the difference between when someone's trying to use me for money or if I actually have a genuine connection here. They have a genuine connection or they have a genuine attraction for white older men. I'm just telling you, and I think it's, I would bet that it's more so. You will probably get a better looking African woman being an average dude with an average income. I think you will get a better, prettier, more fit, younger woman here in Africa. I almost guarantee it. It is like night and day. And listen, I have dated all nationalities. I've been to Asia, I've been to South America, parts of it. I've been to Africa, I've been to Saudi Arabia, I've been to Italy. I've dated extensively my whole entire adult life. I'm not an incel, I'm not a dumbass, I'm not a simp. Okay, I'm not saying I haven't made mistakes. You're always going to make mistakes. There's going to be women that run good scams and run love scams that are just kind of goes the territory, especially if you're going to travel outside. So the best way to avoid that, like I said, in Thailand and the Philippines, you're going to have a big expat community. No matter where you go, there you are. You're going to have a big expat community. Everyone knows Americans. They know how to scam you. They speak English. They're very in tune with American culture. So here, how I avoid that is, like I said, I live in the area of Boname. Boname is outside of the expat areas. And the expats here just aren't Americans. It's mostly Lebanese, French, first of all, Lebanese, and then you have Arabic and some other people. And by the way, Africans just call anybody who's non-African white. So I've had my girlfriend tell me, oh, there's lots of white people. Oh, there's a white person over there to be a Lebanese guy. Maybe they're classified as white, or even people from Spain are white. I understand that. But I try to stay out of those areas. I mean, it's nice to go there when I need to get something specific. If I need to go to an electronics store, or if I need to go shopping where I'm looking for something I want, which isn't very often, then I'll go into those areas. But then you're going to pay higher prices. I do my grocery shopping there because I am from California. I like to have certain fruits. I like to have certain foods, comfort foods. So I do spend about as much money as I did in California on my food, but it's not necessary. I have a French friend who eats like an Ivorian. He's lived here for 5 years and he lives cheaply. So you're going to have higher prices here if you go in those areas, but the areas are smaller. So I live outside that area. So I'm still treated very well. The people, it's almost like you get treated like as if you're a pretty girl. If you're white, older, or just being white, period, you're going to get stared at. You're going to get people want to be your friend. I have people approach me in shopping malls and stores, and they'll speak a little bit of English, and they'll say they want to be my friend. Of course, you're going to have these people always going to be approaching you and trying to. So you got to be wary of how they're. If people are trying to use you or not. So you got to be very careful. The downside of being outside the expat area is I don't have a lot of friends. I am a little disconnected from my in-person friendships. I've only got one friend here, but we all keep in contact on social media anyway. So anytime I need to have some male companionship, of course, I have to reach out on social media. So you're going to feel a little bit isolated when you're in a country where, especially if you don't speak the language, French being the language here. So I do get a little bit lonely sometimes, even though I have a family and my girlfriend, I have a baby, and mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, well, not mother-in-law, but my girlfriend's mom stays with us. She's the nanny for the baby. That's what I mean. They're so traditional here that the family helps out with the baby. So you're not going to have, and they haven't had any expectations on me. So it's been very nice that they don't just see you as a walking ATM or a walking wallet. Although you could, like I said, there are girls like that, and there are all over the world. But I just think I think you guys should really check out Africa. I'm not. I feel kind of weird saying that because it's not like I'm a spokesperson for Cote d'Ivoire. I just know enough about Filipino culture, being with a Filipino woman for 11 years. I just thought Africa was a better choice. And I'm very happy here. It's not perfect, but the weather is great. The people are friendly. It's modern. You have all the modern. If you're making more than $5,000 a month, you can live like a king here and live in a nice area in a penthouse. Anybody who's got money is gonna be able to live comfortably no matter where they go. But if you're on a budget like I am, if you're making between $1,500 a month and $3,000 a month, you will live just fine. You will have plenty of money for rent, groceries, utilities. Utilities are cheaper here. Rent's probably a third or 25% of what you'd pay anywhere else in America. So I really think it's a good place to go. So if you're considering coming to Africa, I would come to Cote d'Ivoire. And the person that gave me advice on coming to Cote d'Ivoire, you'll never guess, was a divorce attorney. I said, where can I find a good woman? And because I was going through a divorce at the time, and he said, go to Cote d'Ivoire. And for some reason, he was so matter of fact, and because he's from Africa, I took his word for it, and as soon as I got here, I immediately met good woman after good woman after good woman consistently. Whereas in Nigeria, I was consistently meeting bad one, paid girlfriend, prostitute, undercover hooker. Now, I'm not saying all women. I do know very many nice women. In fact, great women in Nigeria. You know who you are. But for me, but they don't understand that as a man, and I have men friends in Nigeria, they don't understand that as a man, it's a different world. When people say, all women aren't like that. Have you ever dated a woman, ma'am? Have you ever been to Nigeria as a man, ma'am? I'm telling you, it's crazy. Cote d'Ivoire. Come to Cote d'Ivoire.